Hey there, it's CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. Sitting outside, letting my plant get a little natural indirect sunlight. It's really good. Oh, let me show you. What used to, well, for a while I was like, hey, is it dormant or anything? Uh, but no, it started to sprout again, and I'm so pleased. And now I'm thinking maybe I can expect one of these maybe every month. So that little bitty thing way down in the center down here uh, started out being, whoa, yeah, that started out being, well, I didn't notice it. I was like, oh my God, maybe I've killed the plant or whatever. But then lo and behold, it grew. So that's cool. It rebounded. I don't think I killed it. I just think it wasn't doing anything and I didn't notice. And I was kind of getting bored of like, oh my God, is it going to do anything? But that's cool. So, uh, and and by now I can consider it a leaf, a little baby leaf in there that's going to grow out and be as vibrant as the rest of these. Okay, so and when I do take it out, I take it out in the evening and let it get indirect in the cooler weather. So um, rather than like direct heat, because here we've had like drought climate, we've had like um, you know triple degree, like 110 in the index in the heat index range, and so it's like no, you can't set a plant out like that. uh, but anyway, um, what I want to talk about, I want to talk about this movie that I saw. uh, I watched it. It's the Children of the Corn 2020. Now I saw the 1984 original with Linda Hamilton, by the way, was the breakout star of that one. uh, and I saw it when I was, yeah, in the theater. I went to see it at our local. We had a place called Joy Cinema uh, in the Cedar Grove area of our neighborhood, and it was like the dollar matinee kind of theater thing. But we saw it there. Uh, I went with my mother, and I remember that. Oh my God! Okay, killing the parents. Well, it's a movie. We know that. Of course, my mother's sitting right beside me, and I'm like, okay, I hope she doesn't think I'll ever do this. I think this movie is meant to scare adults more than children at this point. But then at the very end of it, where the whole like they took some severe liberties with it from the short story that it was, which was Stephen King's short story is not really a supernatural element to it. It is really just about um, children who rise up against the adults in a small town, and kind of religious cult like, and kind of and then the two characters, and Linda Hamilton's character is named Vicky. I forget the other guy's name, and the actor in it or whatever, but you don't forget Linda Hamilton when you see her. Anyway, yeah, it's like, but they just they're passing through, and they get caught up, and no, they do not get away. uh, in the short story, but there's nothing supernatural about it. It's just what happens when people fall into a uh, a religious cult, and they have like whatever. So it's almost like a children, children of the corn, Wicker Man kind of thing or whatever. But anyway, oh, I wonder what Children of the Corn, have they made a musical of that yet? I guess that would be the Wicker Man. Anyway, but so this 2020 remake, and there have been a lot of sequels, and then there's been a TV remake. Um, that the TV remake um, was a lot closer to the short story. You know, uh, it kind of combined elements of the lore that had come out through all the movies, and then yeah. So the Children of the Corn movies, after they kept getting released on like syndicated uh, cable channels and everything, and they kept becoming like the same thing that happened with the Hellraiser movies, that the Hellraiser framework, the Children of the Corn framework, they really just became uh, a framework for telling other stories, like and the actual mythos of the Children of the Corn and He Who Walks Behind the Rose and the whole religious thing, and even in the movie, the original movie, the supernatural stuff, it just kind of went uh, by the wayside and became just sort of like a reason for, like maybe these writers would come and they would present and they would get these ideas and they would like, that's great, but if we modify it, it would be good for a Children of the Corn type movie. Or they did that with Hellraiser. You have this uh, short story, or this story that you're bringing for a script idea, and we think we'd like to adapt it. And this is not the only one that's done that. I think Cloverfield kind of got like the Cloverfield uh, movies kind of went there with it also. So it was like, eh. I think had Cloverfield not been a found footage, if it hadn't have been that, it would have been really awesome. It would have been a traditional kaiju from outer space kind of thing. But we're talking about Children of the Corn 2020, and we're going to give this a SC. You can wait and see it on syndicated cable. Um, but like if you pay for cable still or something like that, if not, you can wait for it to pop up on HBO Max or Showtime or something like that. You it has some positive qualities, some nifty little, I don't know. It's it could have been better executed, way better executed. I would not have wanted to pay to see it at the movie theater. I wouldn't have paid a movie theater price to see it. I wouldn't have seen it uh, at a discount price. I wouldn't have. I would only watch it on something that uh, I was already paying for, some service or something like that. And really, if you really wanted to, you can wait to see it on a late night when you're just bored as hell. There are better options to do. It's not like the worst movie. Um, I don't know. If you wanted it, if you're a fan of any of the child actors that are in the movie, there's some of them that are pretty talented or whatever. But here's this. The premise is uh, she's the lead is supposed to be leaving the town in about a week, right? Leaving the town in about a week. That's, I think that's what they've talked about towards the opening, but for some reason, you know, that the townspeople have made like a bad corporate deal, and it has resulted in their crops turning out bad and not doing well. The crops of corn in this town is apparently dependent upon the corn. So now the townspeople have come together and they don't know what else. Well, actually, the movie opens with an orphanage, someone coming out of the field, a boy coming out of the field, telling a little girl, "I don't want you to be sad anymore," and then he goes on a killing spree inside of the orphanage, killing uh, killing all the adults, and then there's a standoff, and it happens live, and they try to tranquilize the boy inside of the orphanage uh, with horse ketamine or something like that, horse tranquilizer, special K, but and they end up accidentally like poisoning uh, the hostages and everybody. So uh, yeah, but there's a girl survivor, and she gets adopted by the local minister, and then yeah, uh, and then of course that sets that's the opening, and it's not very graphic or anything like that, but you hear a lot of stuff happening off scene, and it's like you think, okay, what's going on. Well, this little girl becomes the minister. She gets adopted by the minister, it kind of makes sense because she kind of becomes like the cult leader. She plays like uh, the Isaac figure uh, in this one. You know, the leader of the children and everything. So there's like I said. So we skip past the credits, and there's like an adult, and she's going to go to college in about a week. They've had a town hall, and they're going to abandon the corn industry that they have, and they're going to sell out. And of course, the she's going off to college. The girl that's going off to college, she's going to be away at college, but for some reason, she is against the advancement of the town, thinking that they're selling the soul of the town, and that she can replenish the earth. And I guess she wants to go into ecological science or something like that or whatever. So that's sort of like her thing. She can do this, and she can like save her town and her corn. Essentially, her way of life. That's the undercurrent of this. It's not really so much of an undercurrent. It's just progression of large corporation infiltrating small town. Do you lose a way of life? And so and it's so. And they talk about the irony of it. Okay, well, you're saying all this. Uh, but you're going away to college, and when you go away, undoubtedly you're going to change. And why would you come back here? Her best friend or whatever it is that's around her. Anyway, so there's that kind of stuff going on. It's that kind of struggle, um, and it's formulary. It's formulary. It's not quite sincere. Now this is a grown girl going off to college with one of the most atrocious haircuts. Like, you would think these people, they have no internet. They do have internet. Uh, so why, when they have no internet, do they have absolutely no style? I mean, they look like they're in this little small remote town of corn. I guess it's somewhere in Nebraska. They've changed the name. It's not Gatlin anymore, which was the name in the movie, the original movie, to something I don't know about. But it's like, whatever. So, uh, yeah, what they did was basically, it's like, okay, it's not plausible that there's no actual. I mean, they we get that this is a town that's going into an economic crisis because of the corn. Uh, but they're also like apparently unaware of any sort of uh, aid that has happened in 2020 since from anything, any state or government help at all in 2020 that has helped them resituate it or anything like that. And then then the people, the adults of the town are frustrated, and there's a whole there's a whole Castle Rock vibe for some reason. It's like everybody's having like little flings and affairs and cheating on their spouses and wives and stuff like that. I mean, it's just so weird. So as it progresses from there, there's the occasional glimpse of this weird figure inside of the cornrows that actually looks to be made of corn and corn leaves and stuff like that. And then there's talk of like bacterium that's growing over the corn. So you're wondering, is this maybe a creature that is not supernatural, but maybe it's you know self-aware vegetation or something like that. Some sort of something. But anyway, it makes friends with the uh, girl, the who survived the orphanage and who was adopted by the minister, and so she becomes like, and she's young, like maybe 12, 13ish or whatever. I mean, but she becomes somewhat influential in to the other children, and it's like, well, I don't know. uh, it just kind of goes down for within the course of a couple of days. Uh, she's like, okay, now she's uh, a cult leader, and her reckoning is that she was in the woods, feeling alone, and this little creature, this horn creature came to her and took care of her, and she's like, he took care of me, and now that he's sick, I'm going to take care of him. So her goal is to like, kill all the adults. She does a mock trial, but convicts them of trial, and it's not even they skip over the whole religion aspect of it. They're not even like worshiping this thing. They're just like, it's out there. It's kind of like an ET corn or something like that. I don't know. It's like, there he is. And this thing walks up, and it looks like some, I don't, it's dumb. It looks like a corn Groot from the I don't know. You expect this thing to walk up and say, I am corn, and they don't call it he who walks behind the road. It's just he who walks or whatever. It's stupid. It's stupid. What's stupid is because they took the entire everything out of this movie, which was, yes, it's in a small town, and uh, there are pockets of religious zealots in the small town, and the undercurrent was the fear of the religious zealots. It was not uh, the it wasn't it was fear of you know cultural difference. It's almost a small town backwoods type horror. Uh, that it's that it's but they took it out. They took that out, and this just became a bunch of kids who are, you almost feel sympathetic because they're feeling friendly. They're trying to save their friend, except they're killing all the adults in really weird ways. But not even as gruesomely as in the 1984 movie, because that actually had like more. Just the opening of that had more, splatter to it. So yeah, it's an interesting update, but it's only interesting when you don't have anything else to watch on TV. So you sit at home and you watch it on TV, or if you've seen everything else from whatever kind of uh, video rental or whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't even pay to rent it. I would just wait for it to be available on some sort of uh, paid streaming service that you already have. But really, I wouldn't. You know, if it wasn't on a paid streaming service, you're gonna be able to see this on you know cable soon enough. I don't know. Like I don't know. It's. I will say that starting with the Netflix show Stranger Things, I noticed that um, horror movies, and really, I should say, aside from uh, Drew Barrymore, Linda Blair, those are the two child actresses uh, that I can recall being in horror movies. And then that little boy, Danny, from The Shining, and then, of course, Danny Pintaro uh, from Cujo. Um, but even then, it's like, no, you had to save the children. You couldn't kill. But so I've noticed, they went on, and there's like this whole group of adolescents growing into teenagers, growing into adult actors now, most of them, and it's like that's great. That horror movies and genre movies in general, they're not casting 30-year-olds as 16-year-olds and 17 and 18-year-olds anymore. Uh, but also, the problem is that the movies are so tame, and they're not really put in jeopardy, and they don't. It's almost like it's almost like maybe they don't know how to truly portray uh, being terrified or in jeopardy or something like that. And it's probably because as they're actors and everything like that, that they're probably just telling a story. They're not really feeling their characters, and so there's a whole crop of actors who are good at acting, good at acting, but they're not really gonna win any like awards with what they're doing because it's like they're kids playing pretend, and they're not truly giving life to the characters that they play. You know, so there are some exceptions. The first installment of It, and the remakes that came out. There's a uh, they kind of did okay there, but you know, it's just I don't know, and it's almost like the same crop of actors or the same uh, type of actors or whatever, and it's like okay, well, whatever. I'm just like the girl that's gonna go off to college. Um, it's like she's almost not even allowed to be feminized. Her hair's like chopped off, and it's like really okay. Like, I mean, there's not like one like I don't know. It's this movie's not a good movie, and I'm not particularly enjoying this trend. This is not the Brat Pack, you know. Uh, these crew of actors that are making these movies. You know, it chapter two, uh, Children of the Corn. I don't know if there weren't some of the same actors in there, they looked the quality and they acted the quality of the type, which was uh, mediocre at best because um, having a look and having a certain style, even having a charisma, is not the same thing as really being able to be an actor, to be able to act. So that's that's what's missing. A lot of the realistic portrayals, and it's probably not their fault because they're like growing up on like you know in the media, and they're watching like videos like this. People just sitting around talking, or they're watching like a before the internet. There was a whole like, oh, let's just watch a bunch of uh, reality shows about C-list celebrities and stuff like that getting or that actually I don't know. It's like for the most part, the art has gone out of acting. The artisan, the artistry of it. Um, People watch reality TV, news and stuff like that, and everything, and it's like, well, that's great, but now you're about as interesting as talking to any random person in the world. So what is going to draw me to look at you when I can just go have a conversation with anybody in the world and have the same, probably even more of an interest, um, because yeah, what you're selling is not it's not interesting. You know what I mean? So and you can't take acting and you can't fix it with big effects. You can't green screen. You can't do and the effects in this movie, they could have been better. I'll be honest with you, that whole corn Groot thing was just dumb as fuck. And then there's it's Stephen King, and so there's kind of like a red herring at the end where you think, okay, well she goes and she finds a little ring that looks like a sunflower or daisy that belonged to one of the characters, and so you get your Carrie ending, where the movie Carrie, it's all about the jump scare at the end of the movie. I mean, a lot of stuff happens in 1976's Carrie, from the prom and everything like that. But they rounded out with the best jump scare, and it's a hand coming up through the ground in this movie from the grave, Carrie, and it's not a just a it's not a boo there you boo hand. It's not that. It's a slow coming up out of the grave. What gets you is the loud, you know, music, you know, and that's parodied again, or not parodied, but it's that style is revisited again in Friday the 13th with the little boy Jason jumps out of the water and grabs Alice in slow mo in a dreamlike state, and he's pulling her under the water, and the same type of music. Dun, 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 dun. So, uh, but they do a little different here in this one. You still get your little twist. You know that's the big thing. It's not just a jump scare, but a twist. Uh, it's actually more of a twist than a jump scare. It's the movie's stupid. Why did I watch it? Um, I thought it was going to be interesting, and by the time I got 20 minutes into it, I realized it was going to suck. But it was a short movie, it's only like an hour and a half, and that's the good thing about this movie. It is over before you really have to mess with it too much. You know what I mean? Um, what letter did I give it? Syndicated cable, SC or something? I don't know. Or CS. We just yeah, CS. We'll do C rating. Watch it on watch officially. What I'm going to call this is CS. Watch it on cable syndication that you're already paying for. Don't spend any extra for it. All right. Okay. I love you guys. Peace. Good night. I take my plant inside. Uh, love and light. Bye.